St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026.
Good evening and welcome to Sports on 4 St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame special. I'm Jacob Sersosimo. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll pay tribute to the men that helped form the foundation of the Blue Note. The Blues enshrine their fourth Hall of Fame class. Alexander Steen, Al Arbour, and Barrett Jackman joined the Blue Jacket Club. Jackman was the first player in Blues history to win Rookie of the Year. The guys that shared the ice with him talked about what made Jackman special during a ceremony at the Missouri Athletic Club in downtown earlier this week.
Even coming into training camp in his first couple of years and just how he carried himself, and you kind of knew he had that quiet confidence in himself.
When I saw Jax, I was just happy somebody had shorter legs than I did. we're both known as from Dougie Waite, Tommy and Timmy Torso. So. That's what I loved about him.
When I first got traded here, you had a lot on your plate, man. With a lot of young guys. Osh, Berge, Petro, all those guys. You battled with us in practice. You took care of us on and off the ice. Look at Osh, Stanley Cup winner. EJ, Stanley Cup winner. Petro, Stanley Cup winner. David Perron, Stanley Cup winner. That's because of you, man. That's because of your mentorship. Now I look at myself, I'm still a disaster. So you're 5 out of 6.
Well, before Barrett Jackman got his jacket, Sports on 4's Tamar Scher sat down with the Blue Liner about the honor.
What does it mean to you to receive the Blue Jacket?
It really hasn't sunk in yet, but yeah, it's a huge honor when Prongs and Al were on stage at the Blues and Brews at the beginning of the year and said I was getting it. I was floored. You know, to be going in with Steiner too it's pretty special. He's meant so much, you know, in our playing time together, and our friendship now is, you know, is still pretty tight.
You talk about the friendship that you create. Is that a big reason why you decided to stay committed to the Blues, becoming the director of alumni? You
know, the biggest thing when you quit hockey, you know, you miss being in the locker room. You miss seeing those guys every day, and you know, Bruce Affleck, Kelly Chase, you know, Bobby Plager, all these guys have really built such a great bond in St. Louis. For anybody that's wore the Blue Note, and you know, lots of times we bring in you know, some stray guys too that maybe played against the you know, in different teams, and you know, we're able to retire here. So it's just you know, to create an environment where, you know, you still have those you know, those close bonds, and you sit in the locker room and still you know, make fun of each other, and you know, just have a good old time.
You just did something neat, going to watch a Sharks game, to be a dad mentor to Ryan Reeves. Can you talk about your relationship with him and what led to that moment of him asking you to come on that trip?
Yeah, another time I was kind of floored and you know, very touched that he'd reach out to me. His dad and brother weren't able to make the trip, and so he, you know, I'd like to think I was the first one on the list after that, but who knows? To see what he's done too. You know, he's played, I think, 950 games. You know, in the NHL, and you know, a lot of guys never thought that he would do that. So, just proud of him, and another, you know, great friend, and another bond that I had while playing here.
Winning that Calder Memorial Trophy, the list starts and ends with you when it comes to guys within the Blues organization to win that award. What was it about that rookie season that was so special?
You know, having Al as a D partner, you know, they say it takes defensemen a lot longer to, you know, mature, and I've sped up that process just having Al by my side. A lot of great teammates, but, you know, when you're, you know, patrolling the blue line and you look to your right and there's a Hall of Famer and one of the best defensemen to ever do it, it really, you know, made me at ease, and you know, you have a bad game, you pass the puck to him, and that's all you had to do. And so it was, you know, that year was amazing, and you know, just making it to the NHL was an accomplishment, and then, you know, getting the award at the end of the year was, you know, icing on the cake.
Congratulations, Barrett.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
As a player, Alexander Steen recorded 500 points in a Blue Note and was instrumental in bringing St. Louis its first Stanley Cup championship. Blues Hall of Famer Keith Tkachuk, who played with Alex's dad, spoke about the relationship he developed with Steener.
You could put him on the first line, you could put him on the second line, you could put him on the third line, and you wouldn't get a peep out of him. It was a team-first mentality. You know, I never thought that when I was 19 years old, that I see this little 8 or 10-year-old kid that someday he's gonna be my boss. You know, I hope I was nice to that kid.
Well, ahead of the ceremony, Sports on 4's Tamar Scher went one-on-one with Alexander Steen.
What does it mean to you to receive a Blue Jacket?
Difficult to put everything into words in a short segment like this, because it does mean a lot. It's incredibly humbling, very honored. You know, I've been going in with the guys I'm going in with too is a little bit of a cherry on top. So yeah, obviously extremely excited and thankful.
We talk a lot about what memories you've been able to bring to this Blues organization, to this Blues community, and 2019 is certainly a year that Blues fans will never forget. When you look back at that team, what's something, one piece of that 2019 turnaround that you would like to see in this current Blues team, what this current Blues team could embody?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, the 2019 team sticks out as, you know, we finally accomplished the goal we had set out to do. We had a lot of teams prior to that built up a lot of, you know, details and kind of the culture of what we were trying to do. We were extremely competitive, it felt like, you know, and when you were in it, you didn't really think about it all too much. And then once, you know, your career's over, you look back, you're like, wow, what a ride that was, you know, and to top it off so late in my career with the win in 19 is definitely special. We left it all out there. I felt like there's a lot of teams in there, that pretty much all of them, that I was extremely proud of too. The way we played, the brand of hockey we played, what we were learning along the way, the relationships we built and everything, and then to be able to cap it off like that and celebrate and share that with all the great people of St. Louis that have had our backs and supported us for so many years, that was really, really rewarding. It was definitely an emotional time, both winning it on the ice, but then a few days later on the stage to see, you know, the energy of the city and the amount of people that came out, and, you know, you meet them all throughout your time in St. Louis, but to kind of have everybody in one spot sharing that moment together was pretty special, and it really got to me that day.
What was that moment like when you learned that you were going into the Blues Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it was emotional too. You know, when you play, you don't really think about stuff like that, and then to, you know, get that news at training camp, it kind of caught me off guard. And then, you know, you see your kids and your wife come through the room. Everything I have, I owe to the game of hockey, and quite frankly, the city of St. Louis and the Blues organization. The belief they had in me early, the supporting staff we had around the team, our managers, and Doug, you know, came pretty much the same year in 2008, and to the coaching staffs we've had and all the teammates I've had throughout the years. So, yeah, pretty special moment.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Being inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. It's
yeah,
awesome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
He wore glasses, like, you know, no helmet. It was unheard of.
The first thing I said to him is, can you see out of those things?
The first captain in Blues history. Coming up, Al Arbour's family and friends remember his legacy.
You're watching St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026. St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026.
Welcome back. Al Arbour was a charter member of the St. Louis Blues and the first captain in franchise history. During Monday's ceremony, Arbour's family was presented with his Hall of Fame plaque. His daughter Joanne shared a story about how Al found out he had been selected by the Blues in the expansion draft during the summer of 1967.
We're listening to the radio and they were talking about the draft, and then we hear St. Louis Blues picks up Al Arbour. My mom and I are looking and we're like, well, how could that be? So he comes home and then he's like, wait, what's going on here? So he finds out that Glenn Hall was also drafted. My dad and Glenn Hall were friends from junior. They had played on a number of teams together. So they call up. They're talking to each other. So my dad says, hey, are you going? So Glenn says, hey, are you going? So I'm like, I don't know. What about you? I don't know. He said, well, if you go, I'll go. I said, okay, if you go, I'll go.
Sports on 4 Smart Share sat down with Blues Hall of Famer Red Berenson to remember and reflect on the legacy of Al Arbour.
Red, what does it mean to see Al enter the Blues Hall of Fame and receive his blue jacket?
It's no surprise to anyone, and Al was the first captain of the Blues, and he was probably the most mature person as a player, and obviously was a player who knew how to win. He was a well-respected journeyman, leader, and defenseman, and once Scotty Bowman started coaching, you could just see how that defensive pride overtook our team. With Glenn Hall in goal and Ann Arbor on defense, the young guys, they learned pretty quick that the only way we're going to win is to play great defense. And Al did that, and he's so deserving to be here. The number one reason I want to come back this year is for Al Arbor's induction.
The truth is, it's how hard we loved when this game's over. And this guy's going to be the leading scorer on that team.
A commitment to the community of St. Louis. I sit down with Kelly Chase, winner of the True Blue Award, next.
You're watching St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026. St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026.
If you know him now, I'm thinking that this guy's probably the strongest guy in this room from the neck up. Has probably always been that way.
The True Blue Award is given to someone with exceptional commitment to the Blues, on and off the ice. Maybe nobody more deserving than a man whose name is synonymous with the St. Louis Blues organization. Kelly Chase, Blues Hall of Famer Brett Hull, shared the impact Chaser had on his life.
He took care of the young guys, and you know, when Twister and those guys, they came up, you know, to stay when we knew that they were going to be an integral part of our team. We became extremely close friends. And it kills me now, but you talked about Susie and how she taught us what the St. Louis Blues was all about. But all of a sudden, I from out of nowhere, I became this guy and this St. Louis Blue, scoring all these goals. And it could have went a myriad of ways. But without him, he taught me how I was supposed to act, all the things we were supposed to do away from the game, the way we treated our fans and the people and the community and whatever it was. You know, he was my guiding light that way. And so I've never told him that, but I think he knows. And, you know, you asked Curtis about what you think, and when you think about Kelly Chase, and it's the love of the St. Louis Blues and the city of St. Louis.
Special moment there. I had the chance to sit down with Chase ahead of winning the True Blue Award. He reflected on his commitment to the Blues organization and the city of St. Louis.
When I got asked to work for a couple different teams, I realized that I couldn't. Like, I'm a Blue.
Kelly Chase's commitment to the St. Louis Blues is unwavering.
I don't know. There's something about being a St. Louis Blue forever.
Chase will forever have the True Blue Award and may even be the first recipient to offer some pushback.
I told him I want a jacket like everyone else gets. What the hell do they give you these awards for if they're not going to give you the jacket? And I think they were kind of taken aback and kind of thought I was serious about it. But in any event, it's quite an honor.
Blues fans know and love Chase for his fights on the ice. But in recent years, he's faced the biggest fight of his life, battling leukemia.
I found out in August that I had it came back on my optic nerve. I lost the sight in my right eye, 75% of it.
After 14 days of radiation and multiple rounds of chemotherapy, Chase went into remission with another battle ahead.
I'm in remission with the leukemia, but unfortunately I've lost my hearing and my sight. So right now you're just kind of a blurred image to me, okay? The radiation's done and I'm suffering the side effects of GVHD. It's on my eyes, so my corneas are burning quite regularly. It's in my throat and in my ears.
And just like he's done so many times in the past, Chase keeps fighting.
When I did get a little sparkle of sight back, I just made a conscious effort in my mind to just quit whining and do what I can do to try and, you know, get myself healthy, because I think people are counting on me to get healthy, including myself.
Even amid his health journey, Chase continues to give back.
I realized there's more to this whole thing, and I have a different platform. And now I need to figure out how to help people.
Using his platform in a positive way, Chase recently wrapped a Lamborghini with photos of NHL legends, fighters, and the Blues 2019 Stanley Cup team.
I decided that I'm going to raffle it off, and we'll give the proceeds to, you know, we'll donate it, give the proceeds to Siteman's Cancer Center, and help them do some research to try and help people, if nothing else.
What fuels that passion to use your platform to help others?
Well, I think it's just a matter of integrity, like just do the right thing. The whole thing for my kids that I coached when I grew up, all three of my boys, and their teams, was, what are you doing when no one's watching? That's what makes a difference in people's lives, and that's what's going to make a difference. You know, here with us, with Siteman, we're gonna find cures, and we're gonna go behind the scene and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and that's what we're doing when no one's watching.
A give-back attitude that makes Kelly Chase a true Blue. Well, the Blues take care of business at home at Enterprise. Coming up next, the legacy of this Hall of Fame class told by the guys wearing the Blue Note now. For the latest St. Louis Blues action, tune into Offside Hockey with Curbs and Amy every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. That's on Matrix Midwest, over-the-air Channel 32, and Spectrum Channel 6.
You're watching St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026. St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026.
Well, the St. Louis Blues honored the late, great Glenn Hall by wearing his number 1 on their helmets during Wednesday night's Hall of Fame game. The Blues shut out the Hurricanes 3-0 in that game. Sports on 4's Gracie Barra caught up with players about the legacy of this 2026 Hall of Fame class.
Before the Blues took the ice against the Hurricanes, about 15 players were in attendance for the team's Hall of Fame induction ceremony the night before.
There was a lot of history there last night, and I think it really soaked in about how special it is to play for this city and our fans. And I thought that our players played with that passion and intensity of a lot of the great players and teams that have played here before wearing the Blue Note.
And that they did, delivering a 3-0 shutout against the Metropolitan Division leaders. Nick Bugstad had a shorthanded goal in his return, while rookies Dalibor Dvorsky and Jimmy Snuggerud each added goals of their own. Plus, it was shutout number 4 of the season for Joel Hofer.
Those guys do a great job, and obviously, big role models for all of us. And it was huge for us to get a win for them tonight.
Alumni are important wherever you go, but things are just different in St. Louis.
I've been on a few teams and I've never experienced an alumni like this. It's a strong culture, and it's fun for the players to be able to get to know guys and hear stories and hear about the history of the Blues.
That's the one thing about St. Louis. I mean, our alumni, we've got 50-some guys here, and we got a whole bunch of guys coming back in to see us over the couple of last days.
And the uniqueness of this organization isn't lost on these players.
The Blue Note means a lot more. Everybody's. It's not just a logo. Everybody's working towards a goal.
It means a lot to put this jersey on, and you just kind of realize it more and more each day.
For Sports on 4, I'm Gracie Barra.
Well, the Blues going for 2 straight as they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning at Enterprise Center. Puck drop is just minutes away. Thanks for joining us in celebrating the 2026 Blues Hall of Fame class. Have a great rest of your night and have a great weekend.
This has been St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, Class of 2026.